Welcome, fellow seekers of slightly less chaotic existences. Tired of your brain feeling like a browser with 87 tabs open, mostly for recipes you'll never make? Ever wonder why you sometimes feel like you're nailing life, and other times, you're pretty sure your spirit animal is a bewildered pigeon? Well, buckle up, buttercups, because today, we're diving into the surprisingly delightful intersection of Gretchen Rubin's brainy insights and some ancient wisdom that's cooler than a polar bear's toenails. Stoicism. Hey there, amazing human. It's your friendly neighborhood voice in the digital void, back at it again to explore the fascinating world of, well, ourselves. Today, we're going on a bit of a mind-bending adventure, mashing together the brilliant framework of Gretchen Rubin's Four Tendencies with the oh-so-relevant wisdom of Stoicism. Trust me, it's going to be more fun than trying to assemble IKEA furniture with only the Allen wrench and sheer willpower. Gretchen Rubin's Four Tendencies, a whirlwind tour. Now, before we get all philosophical and start talking about virtue like it's the latest superhero, let's get grounded in Gretchen Rubin's fantastic Four Tendencies. This framework, in case you haven't stumbled upon its awesomeness yet, basically breaks down how we respond to expectations, both internal ones we set for ourselves and external ones that the world throws our way. It's like a cheat sheet to understanding why you do the things you do, and maybe why your roommate leaves dirty dishes in the sink. Spoiler alert, it's probably their tendency. So, picture this. Rubin says we all fall into one of four categories: upholders, questioners, obligers, and rebels. Sounds a bit like a quirky breakfast cereal lineup, right? But stick with me, it's pure gold. First up, we've got the upholders. These are the folks who meet all expectations. Internal? Check. External? Double check with color-coded spreadsheets. They're the ones who make New Year's resolutions and actually, keep them. They're the early birds who genuinely enjoy their morning routine. The people who file their taxes in January without breaking a sweat. You might find them volunteering for extra credit at work, or meticulously following every single rule in a board game, and maybe gently correcting you if you don't. Think of that friend who always shows up on time, has their life beautifully organized, and secretly judges your messy desk. But in a nice way, probably. They're like the Hermione Grangers of the real world, rule followers with a strong sense of responsibility. Sometimes, you might look at them and think, how do they do it? Well, that's the upholder magic for you. Next in our personality parade are the questioners. Oh, the glorious questioners. These are the folks who want to know why. Why should I do this? What's the evidence? What are the logical implications? They won't just blindly follow instructions. They need a solid rationale. Tell a questioner to do something because I said so, and you might as well be speaking ancient Martian. They'll dig into the research, analyze the data, and probably come back with 3 alternative solutions and a PowerPoint presentation. They're the ultimate critical thinkers, the people who ask the tough questions, sometimes the really tough questions that make you squirm a little. Think of the person in every meeting who always says, "But what if?" That's likely a questioner in their natural habitat. They're not trying to be difficult. They genuinely want to understand the reasoning behind everything. And honestly, sometimes the world needs a good questioner to keep things honest and well thought out. Then we have the obligers. The sweet, often overworked obligers. These are the people who meet external expectations, like it's their superpower, but often struggle to meet the expectations they set for themselves. Tell an obliger that you need them to do something, and they'll be there with bells on. But ask them to do something for themselves, like finally hitting the gym or starting that passion project. And suddenly, it's crickets. They're the reliable friends who always come through for you. The dedicated employees who go the extra mile. The family members who always put others first. They thrive on external accountability. If they sign up for a charity run with a friend, they'll train. If their boss assigns them a deadline, it's met. But if they promise themselves they'll eat healthier, well, there's always tomorrow, right? Obligers are the glue that holds many teams and families together, but they need to be careful not to burn out by constantly prioritizing others' needs over their own. And last, but certainly not least, we have the rebels. Now, these are the free spirits, the nonconformists, the ones who resist all expectations, both internal and external. Tell a rebel they should do something, and their immediate instinct is to do the opposite. It's not out of spite. It's a fundamental need for autonomy and self-direction. They want to do things their own way, on their own terms, in their own time. Try to impose rules or deadlines on a rebel, and you might as well be trying to herd cats during a laser pointer convention. They're the innovators, the disruptors, the ones who color outside the lines, and probably think the lines are suggestions anyway. Think of the entrepreneur who quits a stable job to pursue a wild idea, or the artist who refuses to conform to mainstream trends. Rebels are driven by their inner desires and a strong sense of authenticity. The trick with rebels is to frame things in a way that appeals to their sense of freedom and choice. Instead of saying, "You have to do this," try, "You're free to approach this however you see fit." You might be surprised by the results. Understanding your tendency, and maybe even the tendencies of the people around you, looking at you, roommate with the sink situation, can be a game changer. It helps you tap into your strengths, understand your challenges, and ultimately, design a life that works better for you. It's like having a secret code to your own behavior, and once you crack it, you can start making more conscious choices that lead to a happier and more effective you. Upholders. Go Stoic, naturally aligned and ready to thrive. All right, now that we've got the 4 tendencies bouncing around in our brains, let's throw a philosophical curveball into the mix: Stoicism. For those unfamiliar, Stoicism isn't about suppressing all your emotions and becoming a robot. Although, let's be honest, sometimes that sounds appealing. It's a philosophy that emphasizes virtue, reason, and living in accordance with nature. Think of it as a practical toolkit for navigating the ups and downs of life with grace and resilience. Key players, guys like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, ancient wisdom for our modern-day anxieties. Now, let's talk about our diligent friends, the Upholders. Guess what? These folks are like natural-born Stoics. Their inherent ability to meet both internal and external expectations already aligns beautifully with the Stoic emphasis on self-discipline and commitment to what they deem right and virtuous. They're the ones who set intentions and follow through, much like a Stoic striving for inner excellence. Their strong sense of duty and responsibility resonates with the Stoic focus on fulfilling one's obligations. So, how can Upholders dial up their Stoic superpowers even further? Well, Stoic practices like journaling can be incredibly beneficial. Upholders often have a strong sense of self-reflection, and journaling allows them to examine their thoughts and actions, aligning them even more closely with their values. They can track their progress, identify areas for improvement, and reinforce their commitment to virtue. Mindfulness is another fantastic tool for Upholders. Because they're so good at following rules and routines, they can intentionally incorporate moments of present moment awareness into their day. This can help them appreciate the good in their lives and manage any anxieties that might arise from their strong sense of responsibility. Imagine an Upholder taking a mindful walk, truly noticing the details around them instead of just ticking exercise off their to-do list. Bliss, and of course self-discipline, already a strength for Upholders, is a cornerstone of Stoicism. They can consciously cultivate this further by setting meaningful goals aligned with Stoic virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Think of an upholder intentionally practicing patience in a frustrating situation. Pure Stoic mastery. Now, even our stellar upholders aren't immune to challenges. Their natural inclination towards rules and expectations can sometimes lead to rigidity and perfectionism. They might get overly fixated on doing things the right way and become stressed when things don't go according to plan. This is where Stoicism offers some valuable antidotes. The Stoic concept of focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't is a crucial reminder for upholders. They can learn to let go of the need for absolute perfection and embrace the inevitable uncertainties of life. Practicing negative visualization, that is, contemplating potential setbacks, can also be surprisingly helpful for upholders. By mentally preparing for things that might go wrong, they can lessen the impact of unexpected challenges and cultivate a sense of resilience. It's not about being pessimistic, it's about being prepared. Ultimately, for upholders, integrating Stoicism is often about refining and deepening their already strong inherent tendencies. It's about consciously aligning their actions with their values and cultivating inner peace by accepting what lies beyond their control. They're already halfway there. Stoicism just gives them some extra tools for the journey. Questioners and the quest for Stoic wisdom. Our inquisitive questioners. These brilliant minds, always seeking understanding and rationale, find a natural ally in Stoicism's emphasis on reason and logic. Stoicism isn't about blindly accepting dogma. It's about using your intellect to understand the world and your place in it. Questioners will be all over that. They'll devour the writings of Stoic philosophers, dissecting arguments and applying the principles to their own lives with gusto. For a questioner, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a fascinating intellectual puzzle to be solved and implemented. The Stoic emphasis on rational inquiry and critical thinking perfectly complements a questioner's natural curiosity. They won't just accept a Stoic principle at face value. They'll want to know why it makes sense. They'll ask questions like, what's the evidence for the dichotomy of control? Or, how does focusing on virtue actually lead to a happier life? And you know what? That's exactly the kind of engagement that strengthens understanding. By rigorously examining Stoic ideas, questioners can develop a deep and nuanced appreciation for the philosophy. How can questioners actively apply Stoicism in their lives? Well, one powerful tool is to use their analytical skills to examine their own beliefs and assumptions. Stoicism encourages us to challenge our knee-jerk reactions and emotional responses, and questioners are well equipped to do just that. They can ask themselves, is this thought based on reason or emotion? Or, what's the evidence to support this fear? This kind of internal questioning can lead to greater self-awareness and more rational decision-making. In their personal lives, questioners can use Stoicism to navigate uncertainty and make choices aligned with their values. When faced with a difficult decision, they can apply Stoic principles by focusing on what's within their control, their actions and judgments, and accepting what isn't, the outcome. Their natural inclination to research and understand can help them explore different options and make informed choices based on reason rather than impulse. In their professional lives, questioners can leverage Stoicism to manage stress and navigate workplace challenges. The Stoic focus on focusing on the present task and not worrying about things beyond their control can be particularly helpful in high-pressure environments. Their ability to think critically can also make them excellent problem solvers, approaching challenges with a calm and rational mindset. One potential pitfall for questioners might be getting bogged down in endless analysis. Their desire to understand everything thoroughly could sometimes lead to paralysis by analysis. Stoicism offers a counter to this by emphasizing the importance of action. While understanding is valuable, the ultimate goal is to live a virtuous life. Questioners can learn to balance their need for understanding with the need to act in accordance with their values. Another challenge might arise when Stoic principles seem to contradict conventional wisdom or popular opinion. A questioner's natural skepticism might lead them to challenge even Stoic ideas. However, this critical engagement can actually lead to a deeper and more personal understanding of the philosophy. By wrestling with these ideas, they can internalize them in a way that truly resonates with their rational minds. Ultimately, for questioners, Stoicism is an intellectual playground filled with fascinating concepts to explore and practical tools to implement. Their natural curiosity and love of reason make them well-suited to delve into the depths of Stoic philosophy and emerge with a richer understanding of themselves and the world around them. Obligers and rebels, finding their Stoic sweet spot. Now, let's tackle our dynamic duo, the Obligers and the Rebels. These two tendencies might seem like polar opposites, but Stoicism offers valuable insights for both in navigating their unique challenges and leveraging their strengths. Let's start with our reliable Obligers. As we know, they excel at meeting external expectations, but often struggle with internal ones. Stoicism can be a powerful tool for Obligers to cultivate greater self-care and prioritize their own well-being without feeling selfish or neglecting their responsibilities. One key Stoic principle that can resonate with Obligers is the idea of duty to oneself. While they are naturally inclined to fulfill obligations to others, Stoicism reminds us that we also have a duty to our own rational nature and our own pursuit of virtue. By framing self-care as a necessary component of being a responsible and effective person, both for themselves and for others, Obligers might find it easier to prioritize their own needs. Stoic practices like setting clear boundaries can also be incredibly beneficial for Obligers. Because they tend to say yes to almost everything, they can easily become overwhelmed and resentful. Stoicism encourages us to be mindful of our limitations and to protect our time and energy. Obligers can learn to politely decline requests that don't align with their priorities or that would lead to burnout, framing it not as selfishness, but as a way to better fulfill their more important obligations. Another helpful Stoic concept for Obligers is focusing on their intentions rather than the outcomes. Because they are so driven by external approval, they might feel discouraged if their efforts don't always lead to the desired results. Stoicism teaches us that our true responsibility lies in our actions and our striving for virtue, regardless of external validation. This can help Obligers feel a greater sense of inner peace and self-worth, even when things don't go exactly as planned. Obligers can also benefit from the Stoic practice of mindful action. By bringing full awareness to their tasks and commitments, they can avoid feeling like they're just going through the motions and find more meaning in what they do, both for themselves and for others. Now, let's shift gears and talk about our fiercely independent rebels. For those who resist all expectations, Stoicism might seem like a restrictive philosophy. However, beneath the surface, there are some powerful connections. Rebels deeply value autonomy and self-direction, and Stoicism, at its core, is about taking control of your own thoughts and actions. While rebels might bristle at external rules, they often have strong internal values and a desire to live authentically. Stoicism can provide a framework for defining and pursuing those self-chosen values with intention and resilience. The Stoic emphasis on inner freedom can be particularly appealing to rebels. While they might resist external constraints, Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from mastering your own desires and emotions. By cultivating inner discipline, rebels can become less reactive to external pressures and more aligned with their own inner compass. Rebels can also find resonance in the Stoic idea of focusing on what they can control. While they might chafe at being told what to do, they are often highly resourceful and independent problem solvers. Stoicism encourages this focus on agency and empowers rebels to take responsibility for their own choices and actions, aligning perfectly with their desire for self-determination. Instead of viewing Stoic principles as external rules, rebels can frame them as personal guidelines for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life, chosen freely and embraced wholeheartedly. For example, a rebel might resist being told they have to be courageous, but they might choose to cultivate courage as a way to live more authentically and pursue their self-defined goals. One potential challenge for rebels might be their tendency to resist even helpful advice or constructive criticism. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of wisdom and learning from others. Rebels can learn to approach new ideas with an open mind, evaluating them based on their own reasoning rather than immediately rejecting them, simply because they feel like an external expectation. Ultimately, for both obligers and rebels, Stoicism offers a path towards greater self-awareness and inner strength. Obligers can learn to balance their commitment to others with a greater focus on their own well-being, while rebels can channel their independent spirit towards the pursuit of self-defined virtue and inner freedom. It's about finding their own Stoic sweet spot, a way of applying these ancient principles in a way that resonates with their unique tendencies and empowers them to live more fulfilling lives. Conclusion: stoically happy ever after? Maybe. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our philosophical mashup, and hopefully, your brain hasn't completely short-circuited. We've taken a whirlwind tour through Gretchen Rubin's insightful Four Tendencies and explored how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can offer a surprisingly relevant toolkit for navigating life, regardless of how you respond to expectations. Whether you're an upholder, finding even greater strength in Stoic discipline, a questioner satisfying your intellectual curiosity with Stoic reasoning, an obliger learning to prioritize your own well-being through Stoic self-care, or a rebel embracing inner freedom with Stoic autonomy, there's a little something in this ancient philosophy for everyone. The key takeaway here isn't about forcing yourself into a Stoic mold that doesn't fit your tendency. It's about understanding your natural inclinations, and then strategically applying Stoic principles to enhance your strengths, address your challenges, and ultimately cultivate greater self-awareness, resilience, and, dare I say it, happiness. So, what's your tendency? Take a moment to reflect on how you respond to internal and external expectations. And then, I encourage you to explore the fascinating world of Stoicism. There are tons of amazing resources out there. Books, podcasts, websites, just waiting to be discovered. Think of it as adding a little extra wisdom and a dash of ancient cool to your modern life. Remember, the path to a happier and more fulfilling life isn't about achieving some mythical state of constant bliss. It's about learning to navigate the inevitable ups and downs with grace, wisdom, and a healthy dose of self-understanding. And who knows, maybe by blending a little Gretchen Rubin with a little Epictetus, you'll find your own recipe for a life that's a little less chaotic and a whole lot more, well, you. Hey, if you enjoyed this little mind meld and found it even remotely helpful or entertaining, do me a solid and hit that like button. It helps this little voice reach more lovely humans like yourself. And if you want to join our quirky crew, exploring all things self-improvement and philosophical shenanigans, be sure to subscribe. Got thoughts on your tendency? and how Stoicism might fit in? Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay resilient, and stay, well, you.